Good morning, students. I want to go through this. This is a worksheet that you'll have, that you'll go through. It's not the exact same one, but very similar. So use this as a guide. First of all, we're going to convert this to exponential form. So it'd be 1 over 5p, put it in parentheses. Make sure it's in parentheses, 7/4. We want to put that up top, always exponents up top. So for this one, it'd be 5p. We want to flip it up, so we just make our exponent negative, so negative 7/4. Next one, 36, okay, would be our base. Power of 14 over 7. 14 divided by 7 is 36 squared, and 36 squared is, I believe, 1296, so 1296. Come here, if there is no root, then it's a root of 2. So this would just be 5x in parentheses, power of 3, root of 2. And you're done from there. Next, we're just going to go to radical form. So make sure 5r to the third, that's all in parentheses. We're taking a power of 1 and a root of 4. Okay. Next one, we have 100a. In parentheses, root or power of 1, root of 2. So you can leave it as that. Now, one thing that we can do, what's the square root of 100? That'd be 10. Still square root of a. And you could say a to the first power. You can leave it like that. Over here, 7x. Make sure it's in parentheses. Power of 1, root of 3. Go to the next ones. We want to simplify. So we're going to apply our properties to it as we look at them. So if we look at all of our properties, there's a number of properties at play. And a couple of things. Anytime I have a negative exponent, I'm going to flip it down, or we can flip it down. So first of all, I'm just going to put them in order. So I have 8 times 10 times x squared times x to the negative first power times y to the third times y to the seventh. So group like terms together. 8 times 10 is 80. X to the second times x to the first. We're going to add those exponents. So 2 plus negative 1 is 1. We multiply, so we add those exponents. 3 plus 7 is 10. Go to the next one. Again, just putting them in order. G, negative 7. G to the second, so we cancel those ones off. I have h to the 9th power, and I have h to the negative 4th power, and then I have a to the 4th power, or I to the 4th, and I to the 3rd. So then we add the exponents. Negative 7 plus 2, negative 5. 9 plus negative 4 is 5, and 4 plus 3 is 7. So once again, add those together. Can't have a negative exponent, so now we're going to flip it. It's in the top, we're just going to flip it down. So h to the 5th stays up top, I to the 7th stays up top, g to the 5th flips. Here, my bases are the same, so 4 and 4, they're the same, so I just add 3 plus 5 would be 8. So it would be 8 over 2, which is 4. So 4 to the 4th power, 1664, I believe it's 256. Come over here, now we got to apply, so this has an exponent of 1. So you got to go 4 times negative 3 and 4 times 1. So that would be 2 to the 4th power, y to the negative 12th power. So 2 to the 4th power, 2 times, so it would be 16. Over, that's a negative exponent, so it's going to flip down. The only thing that changes is the exponent. It goes from a negative to a positive when we flip it. We apply this property, so it'd be 4. This would be a power of 1, power of 1. So 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. Then we go here, same thing, 1 and 1, so 9 to the 1/2 power, x to the 1/2 power. So now, when we look at these x's go together, so I put 4 to the 1/2 power times 9 to the 1/2 power, x to the 1/2 power, x to the 1/2 power. So these are the same, so we add them. So 1/2 plus 1/2 would just be 1. Here, what that's saying is that's 4 power of 1 root of 2. This is 9 power of 1 root of 2. So what's the square root of 4? 2. What's the square root of 3? Or square root of 9 is 3. So 2 times 3 would be 6. Our answer would be 6x. Put that up there. Here we have a negative exponent, so negative 4 times 2 would be 2 to the negative 4th power. Negative 4 times 2 is x to the negative 8. Now, negative exponents, what we do is we flip them. So this would flip down to the denominator. X would flip down to the denominator. And now I have a 1 over. So 2 to the 4th power is 16, so it would be 1 over 16x to the 8th. Next group of ones. Yeah, next group right here. Okay, so now we're going to include division. So we went with multiplication. Now we're going to look at division. So we come through here. If I divide my exponents, so 3, if I divide them, we're going to subtract my exponents. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1, m to the 1st power. Now, 3 is bigger than 2, so my m is going to be up top. Here, if I look at it, this is 2 and 1. 2 is bigger than 1, so I subtract them. 2 minus 1 is 1. But it would go down in the denominator because 2 is bigger. The bigger number, wherever it is, it'll be either numerator or denominator. Bigger up top, stays up top. Bigger on the bottom, stays in the bottom. Come over here, this is to the 1/2 power, I believe. Let me just look real quickly. No, to the 3/2 power. So we're going to apply this property to it. So we're going to say that's 25 to the 3/2 power times x to the 3/2 power over 5x to the 1/2. So I can subtract these right now. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. So it would be x to the 1st power. It's bigger on top, so it stays up top. The 5 will keep here. Now 25 to the 3rd power root of 2. So what's the square root of 25? That's 5. 5 to the 3rd power is 125. And then 125 divided by 5 would be 25. And this is one that you actually saw before. Again, here we look at those. The bases are the same. It's 27 for both of them. So it's 4/3 and 2/3. So we're going to go 4/3 minus 2/3. So 4/3, so this is 27 to the 4/3 over 27 to the 2/3. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So again, the bigger number is up top. So this would be 27 to the 2/3 power. So what does that look like? That's 27 power 2 root of 3. See if you can simplify it. The cube root of 27 is 3 squared, which equals 9. That's your answer. Okay, last two that we go through. First of all, I'm going to distribute on this one. So I keep the top the same. So there's a number of things that we have going on here. First of all, I'm going to distribute that. So a negative times a negative. So negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Negative times a negative makes that a positive. So that's positive 1/3. And then I have b to the 5/3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is a negative exponent, I'm going to flip it up top. So I have a to the 1/2 power. Now I'm flipping this up top times a to the 3rd power times b to the 2nd power. Now, these are multiplied, so I can just add them. 1/3 plus 5/3 is 6/3. So b to the 6/3. 6 divided by 3 is just 2. So then I need to add 1/2 and 3. Okay? So that would be, you could So if I did that 1/2 plus 3, I need a common denominator. So it'd be plus 6/2. 1 plus 7, or 1 plus 6 is 7. So this would be A. Next part. So 1/2 plus 1/3 is what we just did, 7/2, A to the 7/2. Okay, now if I look at it, B squared, 2 minus 2 is 0, it cancels. That's my answer there. Last one, I'm going to apply this property. So the other thing is I have a negative exponent, so I'm going to get rid of these. So we'll just do this first one. So we're going to go 1/2, so that's m to the 1/2 power. And n, half of 2 is 1. I have m to the negative 2nd power, n to the 4th, n to the negative 4/3. Okay? So a couple things I can do. I have a negative exponent. I'm going to flip that one down. So that's m to the 2nd times m to the 1/2. Now I have these two. These I can just add together. So 4 plus negative 4/3. So I have to multiply this by 3, so that would be 12/3 plus negative 4/3. So 12 plus negative 4 would be 8. So that's n to the 8/3 now. Okay, I still have this n to the 1st power down here. So now I add these two together, so 2/2. Okay, so again 2 plus 1/2. So that would be 4/2 plus 1/2. So 4 plus 1 is 5/2. So that's m to the 5/2. Now here, these, I'm subtracting 8/3 minus 1. So 8/3 minus 1. That'd be 1 over 1. So I times it by 3, so it'd be 8/3 minus 3/3. So 8 minus 3 is 5/3. So that's what we, again, the bigger number is up top, so I'd say that's n to the 5/3. So I want to go through that. You have a worksheet. There is my answer. I know I put the work all around, but you're going to have a worksheet. Use this as a guide as you work through that worksheet.